Hello everyone, and it's postcard 58 of Double Cross Anime. This week gonna be a special week where we gonna do our top 50 list so far of the decade.
Yeah.
So me and Whooper,
Hello.
gonna just basically just work out our list first to the top 50, and then we're gonna aside for the others which show that we think that they're gonna miss in order for them to watch or rewatch.
Right. We each have an individual top 50 list. We're going to talk about the ones that are shared between them, and then we're going to talk about our own individual picks. And then as Mario mentioned, we're going to, try to convince the other person to, watch or rewatch the ones that we feel passionate about. But the choice is up to us in the end.
And as you also know that the decade isn't over yet. So this is just our list at the moment because we're gonna pick up some more shows by the end of this year in order to have like our top 30 share list of the decade.
Right. Yeah. This is just preliminary, It's not even ranked. It's alphabetical. And of course, we do have some promising shows coming up later this year. We've got some stuff we want to watch, rewatch, check out from the past. Make sure that we've got all our bases covered so the top 30 list is as accurate as possible. If such a thing is if it can even be measured in terms of accuracy, because I don't really think it can, but whatever.
That's right. And after like few months of preparing the list, we all have like our top 50 at the moment now, and we after like these 50 show, we have like 27 out of them share.
Right.
So
that's a lot.
That's a lot actually.
Yeah. You wouldn't
that's
you wouldn't find many anime fans who have who if you list their favorite 50 shows of a 10-year period, more than half of them overlap.
That's right.
So that's pretty nuts.
We both agree that Attack on Titan or Violet Evergarden shouldn't be here.
Well, Violet Evergarden, I definitely agree should be excluded. But Attack on Titan, I've been thinking about, I thought season 2 was like pulling teeth. I thought it was torture. But I've been thinking about trying to watch season 3 because everyone is losing their minds collectively over how hype it is and how cool it is and stuff. And I just know that when I try, I'm going to be bored by Wit Studios' constant still close-ups of faces during every scene that isn't action.
Right.
And all the dumb make-believe politics of the series and stuff. I know that's going to happen, but I think I still might try it.
As the one who already watched the first quarter of the per season, I would say that it's okay to try it. I don't think it will change your mind.
Okay.
But it's still a entertaining piece. So yes, to try it.
All right. Well,
just feel the pain with us.
Maybe I will. All right. So that's enough time for the intro. I got a little outline here, a schedule that I'm going to try to keep. I'm going to be like a taskmaster. So we're going to move on to the genre and year breakdown.
All right. For the genre breakdown, I've noticed the very different between our comedy lists. So I have only 2 pick.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have more shows listed that are actually comedies.
All right.
And it seems that you're suffering here from a bias against comedy as a less serious form of art, which I know a lot of people think that drama is greater than comedy. It has more artistic merit. It has more, it deserves to be on one of these lists more perhaps than other genres. Looking at your list here, you have 2 comedies and 2 romances out of 50 series. That indicates to me that there's some misplaced shows on here.
I think it's more of the of how I define comedy, because for me comedy is the show that make me laugh. Like the main point is to make me laugh. So right, I think like for show that have like comedic elements, which is have also have dramatic side. I would consider them more as drama than comedy.
Right. I can see your point. If the drama perhaps outweighs or overshadows the comedy, then it
Yep.
would be a drama. Um,
Right.
but that's not the case with every every show that could go either way. It doesn't have to be labeled a
That's
drama just
right.
because it has some dramatic elements.
So yeah,
Um,
we actually disagree on one show in particular.
oh, I would. There's definitely more than one.
That there's more than one. I noticed one more, but yeah, the one that we've been disagreeing about is Tatami Galaxy, which I put them as drama, and Whooper put it as comedy.
A comedy, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Like
And
for example, I'm thinking of like episode 3, the one
yeah,
where Watashi tries to join the cycling club,
right.
but he can't because he doesn't have a proper bike, and he doesn't have like the build. He's not
Yep.
athletic enough or strong enough. So he
Yep.
saves up money for years to buy like a really nice racing bike, and then he trains under Jogasaki to get like really buff. But once he does, and he gets he trains himself up and becomes like this super ripped hulking dude. But then he's too heavy uh, to like ride the glider that
Yep.
Akashi is building,
Mm-hmm.
and so he ends up crashing it. Uh,
He actually end up not taking it.
what do you mean?
So he actually ended up not trying it.
Well, he does ride it. Ozu tries to steal it, but he gets it back, and then he crashes it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the
Yep. So
the whole episode is like a comedy of like failed dreams. He saves up the
that's right.
money to buy the bike. Uh, it doesn't work out because he becomes too like meaty and bulky to ride it, and then he fails to get the girl because Ozu interferes, and then it ends with him having like crashed the glider that she was so invested in, and then time just resets, and I'm thinking of Johnny the cowboy as well, like the
Yep.
personification of his libido, which is
Yep.
just like straight up gut bustingly hilarious. I don't think
Yep.
there's anything too dramatic about that.
Well, I like we discussed before. I think maybe it's better to put Tatami Galaxy as slices of life because it's represent many different slices of his life.
Yeah, it's like multiple lives, in fact, kind
That's
of.
right.
Yeah. I mean,
Um.
I wouldn't object to slice of life as much as I would drama, because I don't know. I think a lot of people feel as though drama, that sounds serious. That sounds like something I need to watch. That sounds like something important and worthy of inclusion on an important
mm,
list. But it's, I mean, not really.
Well. Yep. Actually, my drama is they have like a many title on my drama that I actually don't know where to where to place them. Like the Monogatari series or Origairu, I have the hard time actually trying to figure out what genre.
Origairu
Yeah.
would be drama, I think,
Or
because
maybe
that
romance.
show. Oh well, maybe romance, but I think that show takes itself very seriously.
Yep. So yeah, because in the end I just put them in drama, but yeah, it can go either ways. Um, One other genre that I noticed that we have a difference, like
Right.
a big difference is sport, where you have like 6 shows, whereas I only have 3 shows.
Yeah, I do have more sports series. I would say that Run with the Wind that I have listed as a sports series is kind of like a drama.
Yep.
It's pretty
Driven.
character driven. Yeah, character intense. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a character study,
Yep. Hmm.
especially for the first half. Ping Pong Definitely the same case, even more so.
Yep.
The four shows above that are like pure sports series, though. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, but I would say that the gap of three between your sports section and mine is way less jarring than the comedy one. You have
Right.
two series listed as comedy out of 50. That's like
Yep.
putting aside which shows belong in which segments,
Yep.
genres. That's way too low. Like you got to get some more. You got to get some more laughs on
Alright.
your list.
I don't know, man, because from your list, from the nine show of your list, I would put Nozeski Kun as Slap Life.
That's clearly a
Oh,
comedy.
romance. As a romance.
It's not a
because,
romance.
And
They don't get together.
Kaguya-sama at romance as well.
Once again, Kaguya-sama, not a romance. They do not get together. The last episode is, the last two episodes are pretty romantic in nature because it's all about, her crush on the president and how that motivates her and changes her perspective. But it's a comedy. Like, the whole point of the show is to make you laugh. The
Alright.
romance is the the basis for the series. It's part of the premise, but it isn't romantic. We're not talking about like Tsuki ga Kirei here.
Yep. Yep.
That show is romantic. Kaguya-sama is like, oh, this girl, she's, she likes the guy, but she's just hamstrung by her own social incompetence. Ain't that knee-slappingly hilarious?
On the other hand, though, I actually pretty much enjoy Slap Live shows, so I got a bunch of them.
Right. Yeah, I have a fair number as well.
Yep. Let's move to the year sections.
Oh yeah.
I noticed that we have like the first 3 years. Much. We have them like more than any other years.
Yeah.
So like my first 3 years actually have like 24 shows already, and you are 21 out of your 50.
Yeah, we have a lot of our top 50 list concentrated in the first part of the decade. Probably because that's when we were, I don't know how long you've been watching anime for, but
Around that time as well.
okay.
That's right.
I mean, a lot of the shows from those 3 years I actually watched around like the middle of the decade when I was kind of catching up.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
even so, like they're from an earlier time in our watching history, perhaps when we were more enamored with anime in general, and it wasn't like a grind to pick a handful of series every year that we want to talk about or blog or follow, like when we became like grizzled veterans of the seasonal anime game.
Yep.
Things were more fresh, perhaps. Yeah, I have 10 series from 2012, which is the most of any single year for either of us.
That's right. So like that's 1/5 of your list actually.
Yeah. I mean, and
That's
honestly,
pretty huge.
it would be more if I had like Hunter x Hunter in that year, because although it started in 2011,
Yep.
my favorite arc aired in 2012.
Yep.
So that's definitely a golden year in anime for me. As is 2014, to be honest. A lot of like 3 of my favorite series all aired in that year from this decade. Like 3 that I would put in my top 10, I think.
All right. Because we actually run out of time, I think. So let's just move on to the next one.
Well, you've got only one from 2019 so far. I want to say
Oh, yep.
that's probably something like that's a warning sign. Like bells should be going off.
Well, I think it's more like when we consider classic, it's more like it stand the test of time.
Well, who said anything
Think-
about classic?
All right. So like
I don't think
like
we've
my
mentioned that word one
the-
time so far.
Sorry. So like favorite. It also like it it stand the state of time for me. So like it stay within me. And like for few months when I looking back for years as well. When I looking back, I still feel fondly about one particular show. So like on this show from just recent year 2018 2019, they have they just need more time. That's what my point is.
Huh? That's not really my mindset.
Yep.
I'm just picking whichever series I think are the best, and that I enjoyed the most. Typically, those two things will overlap for me because if I don't find a show to be very good, I don't find it to be very entertaining.
Right. Well,
So, I
fair
mean,
enough.
if I've seen a show from like 2018 or 2019 that I really liked, then I'll slap it on there. Although I will say that four of the four shows that I put down for 2018, like three of them are on the cutting. They're
Yep.
on the edge. It's only After the Rain that is like for sure like a lock for this list.
But another way, another thing when I consider that is also like a show that have like multiple seasons. So like it spanned for like several years. So the show from recent year like 2017, 18, 19, they don't have that like privilege. They don't have they don't have that like advantage.
Right.
So let's just say like Durara, which I just finished recently, and it finished in I think in 2015 for the last for its last seasons, but it started in 2010, so that's why I
Wasn't it
put that in 2010,
even more recent than that?
like 2015 or 16, the two
Yeah,
years.
maybe it was 2016. But yeah, they did
Yep.
have it did have multiple seasons.
So
Yep, 2016 is when it
yeah,
ended.
2016. So that one of the reason like the older years have more show as well.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because we are listing these series in terms of when they started and not when they ended.
Yep,
Whether that's the right thing to do, I don't really know, but it helps for consistency.
that's right.
All
All
right,
right.
we done with the genre and year breakdown.
Yep.
All right, well, it's time to get into the meat of this thing. We're going to talk about our shared series first. And I know, Mario, you have the list by year
Yep.
of which
All
show we're
right.
going to talk about because we did mention we have 27 shared series on our list of
All
50,
right.
which
So
again,
we're gonna
I can't stress enough. That's really, really insane.
yeah, and that's maybe the 27 show. I think like it's a high chance gonna be our share 30 top
Yeah, I
30
mean,
in a decade.
most of the top 30 list has already taken shape. I think with
Yep.
this shared list, it's just a question of placement, and like I think a handful of these will not make it because one of us might have it listed like in the lower
That's right.
end.
That's right.
Um,
That's what I'm thinking as well.
yeah, but we can, we can save all that for later. All the speculation about that.
That's right. So the first show, in alphabetically in 2010, gonna be Katana Gatari.
Okay, before I start the timer, your thing is recording, right?
Yep,
Okay, you can see it recording, like making the waveform.
that's right.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't hear you click when we started. But if that's the case, then we're good to go. I'll start up the timer once you start going.
All right. So yep, the first one is Katana Gatari,
Okay.
which for me is have one of my favorite act style of the decade. I just love the act. I just love the character design. I think uh, the show benefit from it double length. So if have like on the trademark of Nishi Oshin dialogues, and I enjoy most of the characters as well.
Time.
Yep. So how about you?
That was fast. Um, yeah, I agree. Particularly with what you said about the art style and the character design. For me, honestly, that's the main reason that it's on the list is because it is so visually striking. I
You know
do
about the story?
the story's all right. I do feel as though the relationship between Togame and whatever the guy's name is, I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a little lacking.
Oh,
However, it's made up for by the show's various focuses on Emon Zaimon and the Maniwani, the ninjas.
mm-hmm.
Just the fact that the cast is so broad and so colorful, I think, is what puts it on the list for me, apart from its art style.
All right. The next one. Are
Yep.
we done with that?
Yeah.
That just the next one is Princess Jellyfish.
Okay, so I will start with Princess Jellyfish.
All right.
I've rewatched that somewhat recently.
Mm-hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised by how funny it was. Mostly, I listed it as a comedy on our lists, on our genre lists, because
Mm-hmm.
it is very funny. You know, there's all the crazy personalities
Yep.
that the girls have at the house where they live. I can't remember the name of it right now. There's the comedy of errors between Koronosuke's brother Shu and
Mm-hmm.
the Kana Hanazawa character. Damn it, I'm gonna be forgetting a lot of characters' names. Tsukimi, like where they're mistaking each other's identity.
Yep.
But there's also some pathos to the show as well, with her dealing with the loss of her mother. So I really like the mix of genres and tones. How about you?
Yep. This is one of the show that we also differ on the genre as well because I put that as the slice of life first, or even romance second, not as comedy.
It's definitely
Because
not. Oh,
from
sorry, I'm not interrupting. Go.
that's why because like out of all this laugh, I feel the insecure of the main character Sukimi. I think it's like one of the best part being like the shut in otaku and aware of that and afterwards like she just grow out of that, she accept that and grow out better because of that. So that it is a really personal show and a good show for me.
All right. Next up.
All right, the next one is the horror anime Shiki,
Okay.
the only horror movie on this list actually.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna talk about that, right?
Yep.
It had a very slow deliberate pacing, and it's take a awful lot of time in order to build up its mysteries. But when it hit you really hard, and it also I think the show is have a commentary on the on this on what is humanities. So like as the series goes, we see like the vampire getting more and more human than the human themselves. It's a show that is thought provoking
Time.
and really good in zero. All right, your turn.
Um. Okay. Yeah. The whole thing about who are the real monsters, humanity or the vampires. That was a little too like blatant for me, as I was
Right.
watching Cheeky, and it also took me a long time to get into it, because of the weird hair. The character's hair is so bad that
Right.
it just like was a thorn in my side as I was watching. But the moment that really hooked me was, I can't remember exactly what the doctor says, but like two
Yep.
thirds of the way through the series, when he decides, all right, it's just time to kill him. It's time to kill the vampires to rise up and like protect our town. Like the
Yep.
shift in his character and the way that the show changed afterwards, and became like a full-fledged descent into madness, essentially,
Mhm.
was what clinched it for me.
Right. Well, I agree that his action. I'm not gonna do any spoiler note. It actually really thought provoking again. All right, the next show in our list gonna be Tatami Galaxy.
All right, I'll start with that one.
Yep.
Tatami Galaxy is this show is really wild. Like the really fast paced delivery of the dialogue, this like the stretchiness, the elasticity of the animation, the over the top comedy of a lot of the like the chapters of the protagonist's life, where he is desperately trying to get the attention of the girl he likes, Akashi, and is failing each and every time. That makes the show really a really colorful experience. It's not like anything else. Yuasa's directing, the way that it's adapted from the novel. It's just such a singular work that I feel like it has to be on a list like this. How about you?
I completely agree. For me, it's the one of the work that is perfect by its own. So if have like the writing, and even the visual are taken into extreme. And for me, they are just perfect the way they are. So it have a witty dialogue, a set of colorful characters that you said, and many memorable sequence, and it's hold up all well together. So this is definitely on the list.
All right, time. Very nice. That was exactly 30 seconds. All right,
Yeah,
what's
well,
next?
so that conclude all the shows from the 2010. So 4 shows that we share together.
Okay.
Then 2011, the first one gonna be Chihaya Furu.
All right, you can start with that one.
So for me, Chihaya Furu is a definite sports show. It's very addictive. I actually watched it just recently, and I watched the whole season for a day because I can't just stop. It so good. They have like many players that have different style and different philosophy to the game. And for me though, the romance between the character is not its strong suit. How
Time.
about you, Whooper?
Uh, yeah, I agree about the romance not being particularly strong. I do remember the first time that I watched it, being like, oh man, Taichi, like I hope Taichi, eventually gets through to Chihaya and he makes his feelings clear and they get together. But like I rewatched the second season recently, and I was like, man, Taichi, just shut up about how like unlucky you are and like how you're just a tortured nice guy like waiting in the background for her to notice you. So I wasn't that fond of the romantic aspect the second time through, but I do really like the way that the show depicts Karuta,
Yep.
not just in literal terms with the sweeping motions of the characters' hands and stuff, but often the backgrounds are very like naturalistic. Um, and the psychology of the game is gone into in great detail. So it is a very good sports series, as you said. It moves from one match to the next without taking too much time in between. And most
That's
of them,
right.
most of them are pretty good.
And the good thing is the third season gonna be aired this uh like in the next season,
Yeah,
the
man.
next 2 seasons.
I'm scared, to
So
be honest.
you scare.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like it as much the third time through.
It's gonna be good. I have a great hope for that. So
Well, hopefully you're right.
all right, the
I'm
next
covering
one.
it, by the way, for the blog.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? We might want to let Armitage
Yep.
do that because she used Chihaya as her picture, so she probably really likes the show. Like
Yep.
for the intro post.
Yep. Let's just see how. Yep.
Yeah,
how
that's
everyone
a
doing.
long way off.
Right. The next one gonna be the popular shows. One of the most popular show of this decade, actually. Maho Shoujo Madoka Machika.
All right, I'll start with that.
Yeah.
Madoka was the first show that I chose to rewatch this at the start of this year when I was like thinking about
Right.
this list.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is the best use of Shinbo's really abstract visual style. Because it's married to a series that has a clear story to tell and isn't just like spinning its wheels endlessly with a like parade of fan service and bullshit. Instead there's a very compact but also pretty emotional tale about like a girl who has the fate of the world placed on her shoulders, and how she chooses to deal with that, as everyone who she cares about and everyone who she loves are like falling away from her around her. So it's very very dramatic, and at the same time visually arresting.
All right. Well, you mentioned about Shimbo. I'm gonna mention about the writer of the show, Chen
Again.
Urobuchi.
Yeah.
Yen. This show is like with this show with Fit Zero with Psychopaths. I must say that while I actually admire him. I'm totally not a fan of his writing. He have like pretty good ideas, great ideas even, but he always have like the ending. He always go overflow with his drama, just so over dramatic. This one suffer the same for me. Um, but it is a popular show. It's a they say it's a reconstruction of Magical Girl, and it kickstart the whole dark mode Magical Girl anime
Time.
that's gonna that you know. All right, all right. You
I
know
mean,
what I
you
meant.
can follow, you can finish your thought once I say time. You just have to like make that
Yeah.
the last sentence, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it kickstart the whole genre subgenre that
So if you think
become
that you
very
think that the
often
ending is a mess, then why is it on the list?
because like everything before that was really good.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Okay. What's the next one?
The next one on this list gonna be Mawuru Penguin Drum.
All right, you can start with that.
All right, it's a for me it's a definitive Ikuhara show of the decade for me. It have like it the story itself is epic. It have the emotional raw of Ikuhara's, and it overloaded with symbolism. It's also messy as hell. So it have like all the things that Ikuhara is known for, and that's one of the reasons why you should try it as well.
All right. Time.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's definitely attained the reputation of being Ikuhara's definitive work from this decade.
Mm.
I don't know if it's my favorite. I'm going to rewatch it next month, so
Right.
we'll see how it holds up for me. But for me, the crazy amount of obfuscation that the show puts you through, where you don't truly know what's happening or what the real story is not the
Mm.
draw. For me, that is the character designs, the
Mm.
beautiful backgrounds, and the composition of the series, like the way that everything looks together visually, the way the characters move through the backgrounds, the just the way that shots are assembled. They're very striking, very memorable. The story I can take or leave,
Right.
because it doesn't totally come together in the end, as far as I remember. But that's
All
just me.
right. Yep. Rewatch it, and tell us again what you feel this time.
Yeah, it honestly it might just leave the list altogether. I remember
Maybe.
being
Yeah.
pretty frustrated with it when I watched it the first time.
Right. The next show is the end of the 2011 Usagi Drop.
Okay, I'll start with that, I guess.
Yep.
This is one of my favorite shows ever.
All
Uh,
right. So we
it's-
know Whooper number one show of the decade now.
No, it's not Usagi Drop, but
All right.
Usagi Drop's close. It's
You
like
just all right.
it's not Usagi Drop.
All right.
Um,
Continue.
it's this show is extremely heartwarming, but not in a way that like kind of pushes away reality and says no, we're just going to construct our own fantasy version of what fatherhood is like, or what it's like to be a child who's been adopted and found a new home. It doesn't shy away from the harshness, sometimes even the bitterness of those situations. But at the same time, it does manage to find the sweetness and the lightness. To reference another show in this genre that was not nearly as good. I also really like the art. But I mean, mostly I love the characters, and I love the sense of family that it creates between them. It's one of my favorites. How about you?
Yeah. For me, it's heartwarming as well, and it totally earned the feeling. I really love the two main characters. They share a great chemistry, and being the man who about the same age as the main guy, I'm also feel related to him on whatever thing that he have to do, and why he care about this girl as his daughter. So it is a really heartwarming story, and warm, sweet, and like you said, bitter as well. Sometimes it's bitter as well.
Yeah. All right.
Alright.
What's next? 2012.
Yeah, 2012. The next one is From the New World. from the new world, what I love the most about this show is the world building, where like only characters are trapped in this world, and it have like one of the great ending where it's the kind of show that just like hold up greatly the more you think about it. So I yep,
Time.
that's it.
Okay. Yeah, the ending's really strong. I mostly admire the show as a work of conceptual fiction. So the characters not really involved in their lives as a viewer. The story is pretty gripping, but more than anything, it's the vision of the future that it paints, and the way that society has restructured itself in the wake of these psychic attacks. So not visually, not narratively. It's more about like the premise of the series, seen from beginning to end, is what carries it for me.
That's right. Agree. All right, the next one gonna be my favorite show. Humanity Has Declined.
Nice. Your favorite. Okay.
Yep, one of my favorite.
Okay. Yeah. Same as Usagi Drop for me. Just near the top.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So why is it one of your favorites?
No, it's
Oh,
your
am I
turn
starting?
first.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Humanity Has Declined for me. Honestly, it barely makes this list. In fact,
Right.
it is the last show to join. Like that doesn't mean it's number 50 because they're not ranked, but it's the last show to make an appearance, like to be added to this list.
All right.
Because I rewatched it and I found that of the 12 episodes, about 4 of them I thought were utterly boring.
Right.
Like specifically the one episodes 5 and 6 where they're investigating the old underground like labyrinth, and there's like the 2 satellites who take human form. I thought those episodes were just complete misfires. So because it's a work of like satire, and it chooses to satirize our modern world by presenting a vision of the future that's like so divorced from anything we could come up with. Sometimes the concept doesn't like hold fast for me. However, the episodes where it does connect are genius. So for me, this is a show that makes the list based on a few like brilliant successes, as opposed to its few failures.
All right. For me, I just personally love this show. I love the whole concept of it. It have like one of my favorite setting ever, like the post apocalyptic world where humanity is on the brink of destruction. It's contract that setting with the act where the act is very cute. It's little, and it's contract all this with the writing that are very witty and unpredictable and weird. So the show also had like one of my favorite female protagonist ever. So I just love the shows.
Same protagonist as Tatami Galaxy.
That's right.
They have the same name.
The same name. Because they are unnamed.
Right.
Alright, the next show gonna be a show from Q&A, Hyoka.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright. For many people, Hyoka is the best Q&A show. For me, although it's not really the case, I really enjoy the modern aspect of many of the cases, and for the visual, I think the visual is really competent. It's great all around. It have like only characters that like feel like high schoolers, and I enjoy like only interaction between them.
Time.
So, yep, that's my take. How about you?
Yeah, Hyoka for me. The first half of the series, like you could just cut that out for me. Honestly, it's everything that kicks in once you reach the cultural festival arc. Everything from that point and beyond, I think, is really good. It's when Oreki starts being such like a mopey stick in the mud, and starts to feel like part of the team. It's when he takes more notice of Chitanda, apart from wow, this girl's really cute, to I think I like this girl. Um, there's like a real sense of togetherness between the group from that point on, which is then fractured by what comes later in the series. So there's some drama that gets added to the mix. So like the first half I would just no.
All right.
So it's not a series I feel very strongly about, and it is also gorgeous. As you said, the visuals are quite good.
Yep. The next show on this list gonna be JoJo Bizarre Adventures.
Okay.
But
so for me, I've only seen parts 1 and 2 to completion. I've tried 3 and 4, but ended up dropping both of them. So this is just about 1 and 2. Before the series went all stand heavy, and JoJo's is just fun. That's the reason that I have it on the list anyway. It's the protagonists, especially Joseph in part 2, are like such smug and confident jocks with superpowers that you just want to root for them. The villains all have like creative powers, and despite the series' really limited animation, like the way that it's constructed, like the poses that all the characters get into, and the effects that David Pro used in order to like visualize their superhuman abilities, all make like a very fun, colorful, campy package that I just smile when I watch.
all right, you have the word fun. I have the word ridiculous. JoJo Bizarre Adventure is so ridiculous. It's actually really refreshing to watch. It's like an adrenaline shot to the brain. It's like all the conflict just getting higher and higher, more and more ridiculous until like it just explodes by itself. But hey, that's great fun about that. And point to David Production who actually adapted, like getting the vibe, not the vibe, the energy of the show successfully. So
Right.
yeah, also point that I also just watched the first and the second season of JoJo Bizarre Adventures.
Okay, so it's just parts 1 and 2 for us.
So it's a part 1 and 2. That's right.
Right. Cool. All right.
The next one is the only OVA of the list is Space Battleship Yamato 2199.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, this one isn't on my list, isn't on my radar until Whooper recommended this to me, and you think about it as like the cross between Legion of Galactic Heroes and Nadia. It said that the source material itself is even older than any of this, and it's the whole adventure is fun, epic, and it's just a place to watch. Basically, I was hooked from start to finish.
Yeah, I agree. I was definitely hooked as well. To me, it's not a mix of any particular anime. It's just Star Trek, the animation. And it works. I think there's just enough backstory and emphasis put on the characters for them to like be important to your viewing experience. But at the same time, it is really more about the adventure of traveling through space, and it does have like a very strong narrative through line once you reach a certain point. So it's not as though it's just a bunch of Star Trek like visits to individual planets. There is a pretty gripping story that hooks you once you get into it.
Yep.
What's next?
All right. The next show is Shuritama.
Oh yes, Tsuritama, aka everything that Sarazanmai should have been.
All right.
That's how I feel about Tsuritama, and I've honestly seen a lot of people who feel the same way on a particular anime board that I visit. So I was pretty encouraged to see that like that wasn't just my imagination, you know. Tsuritama has my favorite color work in this decade.
All
Um,
right.
the hues of the sky and the water are so beautiful and so relaxing to me that when I watch, I can't help but feel entranced. I also feel like the developing friendships between the four main boys are
Mm.
really strong. Um, and there's a lot of pathos to the series as well. Like whenever Kate, the grandma, and Haru, the alien character,
Mm-hmm.
are together on screen, I get chills just hearing like
Mm.
how she explains different emotions and different facets of humanity to his alien character,
Yep.
and how gentle and caring she is with him and with everyone. Like the show is very good. It has a lot of characters who are very good to each other and who do try to understand each other,
Mm.
despite their different perspectives. So
Yep.
very nice show. I like it.
All right.
I
From
went over 30 seconds for that one for sure.
That's all right. For me, I wasn't think much of Shuritama on my rewatch thingy, but I was taken by surprise by how good it is. So the most thing that I gonna remember for that is the tone it trying um to display. It have like an easygoing, carefree before the main conflict even kicks in, but like everything makes sense. We feel like the relaxing of all the boys just like spend time, enjoy spending time with each others, and it it's like a magical realism work, and I
Mm.
just really love this kind of work.
Okay,
All right.
nice. What's next?
We don't have any share show in 2013, unfortunately.
Good.
So we're gonna good. What do you mean by good?
I
Then
that year was a wasteland for me.
I have a lot of great show on that years. Then the next one gonna be in 2014, Mushishi second season.
All right, you start us off.
Mushishi is just a show that have a special place in my heart. I still like I watched Mushishi um from it released so like in 2014, but there's still many of the episodes, the stories that I still remember till this day. Would love to watch them again in order to just like embrace all the stories about anything you try to meditate, like human grief, human and Mushi trying to live with each other, like everything, the sense, the duty of life, basically. So it's a
Okay.
story of death, and it's like it's otherworldly. It's such a classic for me. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the shows that has a chance at being our eventual number one. I'm glad.
Spoiler.
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, was there any doubt? Um,
Yep.
Plus, who's gonna watch this?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, should have shared.
this is for us. So
Right.
Mushi, yeah, you mentioned the word human, and this is something I talk about whenever I mention Mushishi. Is that even though it's like a show with a supernatural flavor to it, it is perhaps the most human uh, series that we're going to talk about on
Mm.
like of any of these 73 shows.
Yep.
It's just so detailed in introducing a whole like a new character or a new set of characters every single episode and seeing how they're struggling, the places they're in their lives, their situations, and how the Mushi are affecting them.
Mhm.
So it does take very neutral point of view with Ginkgo as a main character. He's a Mushi doctor. So he tries to make life better for both humans and Mushi. So I mean, the show's it doesn't take a side or anything, but uh, it's a very human work. In addition to being very beautiful and very well scored as well. Love the soundtrack.
Mhm.
Um,
Great.
great show all around.
All right. The next show gonna be Ping Pong the animation.
Ah, yes, Ping Pong. One of my personal favorites.
Mm.
Um, Yuasa is a fucking genius. He storyboarded this thing basically by himself, from what I understand.
Wow.
Like it was almost a one-man effort. The the art style, I think the art style's brilliant. I I can't believe how well it works. I honestly, when I rewatch it, I hope I am not disgusted by it because it was like a miracle to me how well the show moved and how good it looked, despite the characters being so superficially unattractive. Also, the main thing to love about the series for me is like the sports psychology of it. Like it's about the anguish of not being good enough. It's about the frustration of stagnation, and it's also about the joy of sport itself, and the sense of gratification you get when you get that win or you make a breakthrough in your progression as an athlete. Just like a killer show from a character perspective. How about you?
Yeah. Well, Ping Pong the animation is one of those shows that I might need to rewatch. But even then, I still remember the show is totally different from any of the sports shows. In a sense that it doesn't follow any of the genre formula, and yeah, like you said, it more delve into like this psychology, the about the sport itself, and from the visual perspective, the animation is just knock it off. It's just so good, so amazing, and yep,
All
I
right.
think it's time already. Yep.
Yeah, it is time.
All right.
What's next?
The next one is Shirobako.
My God, just gem after gem in this year.
Yep. Oh, me first.
Yeah.
It's one of the adult in bracket anime about the making of the anime itself. So it's the concept itself sound like it's only appeal to the otaku, but actually it's not. It's inside about the industry with some very frustration about the productions, and I love the characters themselves. They are not like the real human in a way that like human does that, but they still like they still have a charm by by themselves. So
Time.
yep. How about you?
Yeah, Shirabako's great. It's like anime, the animation.
Yep.
Uh,
Mhm.
it's there is a sense of fun to the series. Like the characters do try to approach animation production optimistically, and I think the show is optimistic at its core. There are
That's
just
right.
a lot of struggles that they have to overcome, be it like incompetent coworkers and broken production schedules and demands from production committees. So it's a nice kind of inside baseball look at things. A lot of people complain that it isn't like accurate enough or it isn't cynical enough, but I think that the characters are strong enough that it's able to pull through in spite of that.
All right. The next one gonna be another hit, Space Dandy.
Yes. All right. Space Dandy is another one of my favorites. 2014 is just insane. Um,
Right.
Space Dandy is like just a feast. It's
Yep.
like a 26 course meal, with every
Yep.
single episode being entirely different. All Some of them are funny, some are ridiculous, some
Yep.
are like quite moving. It's a grab bag, it's a smorgasbord, it's a buffet, and it has some of the best animation of any like TV series ever. It's
Yep.
probably up there with Mob Psycho. It's a blast, and I love it.
All right. for like you said, it's like um Stay Dandy. It just like bring different strokes to the stories. So like every episode we have like different genre, different tone, even like different animation style itself, and it's just a joy to watch and discover for like week after week, like episode after episodes. And it's also a platform for like ambitious directors to flex their muscle. And for me, the second score in particular is they have like a string of strong, really strong episodes between like USR episodes, like into 4 5 episodes that are just a must watch.
Yeah, they're great.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Second season's the best.
Yep.
What's next?
The next one is from 2015. He became Euphonium.
Right. Okay. So you're starting with this one. My bad.
Yeah. It's for me. It's one of the Q&A, the post Q&A show. So like the Q&A show that after 2011, to be exact.
And you got 10 seconds left. You got to talk about the show itself.
All right. It's the craftsmanship of the show that I really, it's just insane. They have like in the performance they actually tried into animated like every single performance with where on they hit on the notes at the right tune at the right time. So it's really insane.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Euphonium I put on this list because like when I first watched it, I was blown away by it. Rewatched it, did not care for it as much. In particular, I think like the second season didn't do much for me. But even putting that aside, like the comparison between the two seasons, Kumiko is not my favorite main character. She doesn't really have much impact on the direction of the story. I feel the show suffers from that a little bit. Also, like visually, I'm not that into it either. Having seen it a second time.
Right.
So
have you seen like both season or like just season one?
I've seen both.
All right.
Yeah, the less said about season 2, the better for me. Like all the stuff, like the first 4 episodes where they're dealing with like the Liz and the Bluebird characters.
Yep.
Just like what were they thinking? Not a fan of those. So this Hibike, it's on my list, because I did enjoy watching it so much the first time, but I don't know if it'll still be on the list in 3 months.
For me though, the second season is just as good as the first one. Just so you know.
All right.
The next one gonna be our one of our favorite. I'm sure. Three Gatsu no Lion.
Yeah, Sangatsu. I think this show's great. It's really good. It has an art style that emphasizes the emotional pain of its characters at times. Also the kind of sunnier moments in their lives as well. So there's a lot of focus on water, the way that it can make you feel like you're drowning, the way that it can also make you feel like you're refreshed. It dives into the psychology of its sports players in kind of the same way that ping pong does, but it also has a much broader cast and comments more on the experience of living in general, not just the experience of living as an athlete. And I feel like it's a very compassionate show as well. I love all the characters, and it's cool. How about you?
All right, for me, Sangatsu no Lion have like one of the greatest character writing in this decade. Not even the main characters who have like very well defined struggles and issues, but it expands to all these side characters. That like each episode we can see like different side of them, different shade of them, and all these things that make them who they are. and chef have been really good on adapting it visually. So the comedy bit can be a bit take it or leave it, but like the dramatic bit and it's really good.
What a
They would.
surprise that you value the
All
drama
right.
over the comedy.
All right. The next one gonna be Mob Psycho 100.
All right, go ahead.
All right, the animation of Mob Psycho 100 is just insane. It's insane. It actually make a full use of the simple character design of the manga and make it like one of the most dynamic, the most insane and animation we see in recent years. And not also the visual but the writing is excellent as well. And we can see many twists and turns and many of the characters
Time.
who become much deeper than they first appear. How about you, Cooper?
Yeah, I agree that it's visually impressive. In fact, that's the main reason it's on the list for me.
All right.
I do feel as though Mob's character is quite good. You know, the way that he retains his humanity despite his overwhelming power is what makes the show tick for me, especially in the second season, because he's tested a lot more in that one, I feel.
Yep.
Not every character works for me though, and I do feel like it becomes too much of a beat 'em up as it goes along. But it's just the visuals for me mostly. It is it's an unbelievable work of art.
All right. Want to move to the next one?
Yeah.
The next one is Rakugo.
Okay. Showagen Roku Rakugo Shinju.
Yep.
It's probably the best character drama, like the best straight ahead character drama on this list for me. I like the generational themes, dealing with the way that people change over time, that art changes over time, the way that we like by getting together and forming partnerships, whether they be romantic, professional, social, the way that we can try to understand each other, the way that we hurt each other as well, because I feel like the series is a tragedy in some respects. The full experience of living is captured in the show. You have romance, you have friendship, you have your craft, your art, your profession, and you have death. It's all there. How about you?
I think this is a show that is very fascinating on paper by the concept itself. So it's a adult drama that that consists of extended performances where the performer they just sit and perform, yet like it never get boring, and yet when the visual like when they make it in anime form, it actually benefited from all of this. So it just amazed me how like the anime medium can produce such a mature and great work like this one. It's just one of a kind, basically.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
All right, the next one gonna be in 2017, Girls Last Tour.
Okay.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite slice of life shows, and for me, what this show work the best is they balance between the moe side and the hopelessness of of the world and their situations, and they also like the visual presentation of the show is really good as well. It really cinematic with the use of the sound and soft placement. So this is a really surprise show that I that just completely blew me away. Right.
Yeah, I can't. First of all, I can't say that I shared your reaction. I was not blown away by it. This is a show that may disappear from my list in 3 months. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do really like the concept of the series,
Yep.
and there are a lot of episodes that I enjoy like individually. The one where they like with the song at the end where they set up all the jars, or the jars have already been set up to catch the rain and to make that little tune.
Yep.
I think it has a lot of memorable moments. The one where they launch the missile as well,
Yep.
accidentally destroying like an entire part of this post-apocalyptic civilization. I think it creates a lot of strong moments for itself. Um, but there is a stretch of episodes in the middle. I was watching this with my brother, and he was like, when we got to that little bit of episodes, I don't remember which three they were, but we were watching, and he said, "Man, this is boring." And I was like, I can't disagree. This is not good.
Yep.
So the intrigue of the start of the series, as well as its conclusion, as the characters do start to like try to get Nuko back to his family. Those two parts I think are pretty strong. They're pretty captivating, but not all of the series works for me.
All right. All right. The next one gonna be Make in Abyss.
All right, Made in Abyss. Hey, this is another series where the middle portion is not my favorite.
All right.
Made in Abyss, the main strength of the series is the pit, the abyss itself. Of course, the town that surrounds it is also very, like bursting with life. But the abyss itself is like, you have so many monsters, like eldritch abominations down there that take these cutesy looking characters and put them through hell. I think that's the show's main appeal. Plus the 1 hour long conclusion, like the final episode, is a real tour de force.
Yep. Well, I agree with you that the Abyss itself is the main appeal of the show. I think the show make a good use of using cute character design. So like in Glassdoor, using the cute character design in contrast to the harsh of situation. So when like the main character get injuries, it's like kick us really hard. And I also agree that the finale is really emotional.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What's next?
The next one gonna be definitive romance show of the decade, maybe. Shukigakure.
That's you.
Oh, it's me. All right, sorry. I will waiting for you. I think Shukigakure, that's the show that perfectly portray what first love feel like, and on the awkward of it as well. And it also one of the show that really embrace its show don't tell approach. So everything we see is from the visual storytelling, not some narrations or like some expositions. So I really enjoy those, and I think like the main characters chemistry are rock solid.
Yeah, I mean I agree. I don't have too much else to say about it, honestly. I really like the show. I do feel like it helps that the characters also have their own goals.
Yep.
Like the guy wants to be a writer, and he's also a traditional performer, and for like the festival that's coming up. And the girl is a track star. I feel as though the fact that they're pursuing those goals alongside trying to navigate their first relationship really strengthens the show. It like to have that dual focus. The series is not the best on the visual front. The CG crowds, I'm dreading seeing those again when I eventually rewatch this, but definitely brought back a lot of memories for me as I was watching it. Yeah, memories of like, first crush, first relationship, that sort of thing.
All right, we only got two so left.
All right, what do we got?
One of them is our share topic of for 2018.
After the rain.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, this show, and I mean, in contrast to Tsukigakure, it is like extremely good looking.
Yeah.
It's one of the most remarkable things about the series, I think. But apart from that, it's also like a very interesting character study, and a very strong romance too. I feel, although that is kind of moved away from as the series goes on. Um, Nevertheless, the impact of the relationship between the two characters is certainly strongly felt by both of them. And I mean, I just want to talk about the visuals more.
All right.
They're crazy. The attractiveness of the characters is really brought out by the focus on, like hair, facial structure, like makeup, and the sense of longing from Tachibana's characters is really powerful for me.
Yeah. For me though, I think the concept, the premise itself is very tricky, but the show get away with that, with a very sensitive portrayal of the two main characters, and I absolutely agree that the visual are just at the best. It's just gorgeous, not showy at all, so very subtle. And the soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtrack in recent years. And whenever the two characters, the two men are together, they produce something special together. So the chemistry are really really great. It's just a very good show for me.
All right, what is the last one?
The last one is the one just fresh up the season, Sarazamite. Oh, so me first. We have another Ikuhara show. So and the premise itself is really bizarre, and it's original as well. So if I had to compare this show to any Penguin Drum, I think Penguin Drum is a better Ikuhara show, but this one is still good as it is, and I think that the theme of connection might be a bit glitching for this. How about you?
If we look through these 73 shows, like a third of them probably you could say there's a theme of connection between them. Like that's
after the rain connections.
Yeah, I mean honestly though, Rakugo connections, Tsukigakure definitely connections.
I'm looking for the one that's not about connection.
Sangatsu definitely connections. Like that show, Sangatsu blows Sarazanmai out of the water in terms of like the importance of connections between people and like depicting the formation of those relationships, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Sarazanmai. For me, it's here because of the visuals mostly. Still can picture a lot of the moments from the first episode. It hasn't been so long that it's faded from my memory, surprisingly. And like the sheer imagination of the series, especially in the first half, really impressed me. As far as the show's like thematic consistency, I think it leaves a lot to be desired. I think that's a shared problem between a lot of Ikuhara's more recent work.
Right.
And the characters, I mean, honestly, I don't really care about the characters from this series. They ended up just kind of, being a little bit thin, and I don't know. Like, I'm going to rewatch Yuri Bears, and I'm only going to put one of the two on this. I mean, it might be neither, to be honest. Yep. But I'm going to limit myself to one of the two because I don't feel that strongly about either one. So we'll see how good Yuri Bears is when I rewatch it. But, I mean, it's certainly a unique work, Sarazanmai, for sure.
All right, Whooper, you want to take a few minute break?
Sure, let's pause it.